Welcome to the world of finance. We all want to invest wisely and see our money grow, and that's where a financial planner or advisor steps in.
If you understand the current regulations, what has happened in last year on October, this financial advisor regulation, which we were waiting for last 10 years, has finally come in. Now that person has to clearly tell whether he's an advisor or a distributor. And in case of an advisor, he needs to have certain amount of qualification to be called an advisor, and he needs to carry a license to give advice. And one of the components of that is financial planning regulations, and CFP is a like the topmost icon for that.
Crunch, analyze, process numbers you may, but if you're looking at a career in financial planning and want people to take your proficiency with money matters any more seriously, you should look at acquiring a CFP certification awarded by FPSB.
The CFP mark is a global certification which kind of certifies that this individual has gone through a process of extensive education, examination, is bound by a certain system of ethics, and is a professional in the retail finance space who puts the interest of the consumers before his own.
There are various ways to get the certification if financial planning is your calling.
There are two ways in which a student can become a CFP, a Certified Financial Planner. One is through the education route. You can enroll with an education provider. There are 40 of them with 150 centers across the country. And they will have courseware, they will have classes, and you enroll in that, you pay whatever it takes, and you go through a series of 5 examinations. So you have to clear 5 fairly tough papers to become a CFP certificate.
Goes without saying that a CFP is not an easy certification to earn. Intensive study is needed before the certification can be yours.
Modules in CFP, which includes introduction to financial planning, which is about basic simple mathematics about finance, because as we talk about finance, number crunching is one of the first things that comes to the mind. Then coming on to risk analysis and insurance planning. And insurance is an integral part. While we are managing the client's portfolio, we need to tell them, educate them how they can plan their finances better and manage their risk. And then moving on to investment planning, moving on to retirement planning, talking about the taxation in the client's portfolios, and then finally moving on to the advanced financial planning, which is actually incubation of a lot of case studies of real-time nature and complexity about the client. So we include all those 6 modules.
But what if you're already working in the industry and want to take up an advisory role, or want to add to your impressive list of certifications? There must be a quicker way to get the certification.
There is something else called a challenge status, where finance professionals, so there could be that there is a chartered accountant, a person who's done a CFA, or simply a finance postgraduate, who believe that this certification would help them in their work, whether it is financial planning or simply doing, being a professional in the financial sector. For them, there is a challenge status where they can fast track their process of becoming a certificate because they would have the 3 years experience.
Skirting taxation, insurance, retirement and estate planning, a career in financial planning requires not just the understanding of various such fields, but also requires one to be good with people.
2 things, some of the things which are really important, including the trust that the financial planner commands from the client, and secondly the technical competence. Both play a very important role, because as we talk about managing somebody's money, it is required that somebody can believe in you in your advisory.
So if you can prove that you have the ability to make money for and earn for your clients, they may never be a looking back. In New Delhi with camera person AJ Joseph and Abhishek Singh, Kriti Mathur for NDTV.
Right, so what does it take to get into this course? We're going to get into that with our expert Mahesh Sharma in just a bit. But let's just hear from some students who are pursuing this course on what they find challenging and what is the most exciting thing about becoming a financial planner, or at least studying to become one.
We are International College of Financial Planning, and we are joined by a bunch of students who is studying 2 different financial planning courses, Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Planning of PGDFP and MBA Financial Planning. Let's hear it from them. What is it that they're studying and what are their future plans? So, what are you studying?
Yeah, hi. I'm studying MBA and it is a 2-year integrated program in which after first year we'll be given the diploma of the financial planning.
Your reasoning behind going for MBA in Financial Planning?
Because I wanted to make a career in banking and BFSI industry, which is banking and financial services industry. And so the demand of the BFSI industry is the typical depth knowledge of finance and financial planning itself.
What about you? Are you really interested in earning a CFP eventually, or you would rather start working?
See, in the initial stage, I wasn't. Being from a business family, studying was the last thing on our agenda. It was just, how to expand your work and everything. Then one day I had a talk with Mr. Bajaj, and he, briefed out the course to me and the details and stuff about it. So I was like, may as well just give it a try. So I thought may as well, do my PGDFP and MBA first, and alongside that, if it interests me, I'll do CFP along with that.
So is it interesting you as of now?
As of now, yes.
Okay.
I hope it does in the future as well, but as of now, the current modules which we guys have done, that does interest me.
We also have someone with us who has cleared 3 modules of CFP certification. Let's hear it from him. How difficult was it or how easy it was for him? आपने 3 modules clear कर लिए हैं CFP के, तो आपके हिसाब से, और आपने college exams भी दिए ही होंगे, तो आपके हिसाब से ज़्यादा difference है difficulty level में या लगभग एक ही level की difficulty है?
College exams तो easy है, बट जो CFP का लेवल है वो काफ़ी टफ है, मीन्स जिसके न्यूमेरिकल्स ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं होंगे, एटलीस्ट 60% ऑफ द पेपर न्यूमेरिकल्स।
मॉड्यूल्स क्लियर किया?
मैंने इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लानिंग, रिटायरमेंट प्लानिंग एंड इंश्योरेंस प्लानिंग 3 मॉड्यूल क्लियर किए हैं।
You wanna have your own practice or you wanna join a firm and work with them?
Well, starting with my career, like eventually I'll obviously do the freelancing part.
Work with a firm
Yeah.
on some experience and then
After,
maybe...
yes.
Yeah,
After
but-
that, I'll do freelancing.
But the experts in the field suggest that you should not wait for a job.
So definitely, like for now, I'm looking for the placements for that part only. Like the companies have started coming, and we are appearing for the interviews and all. So like for 3-4 years, I'll work as an employee. I'll obviously learn as much as possible, and because that gives you a base.
All of you enjoy number crunching way too much and would rather just stick to financial planning than look at anything else. Best of luck to all of you
Thank
in
you
your
so much.
endeavor to earn a CFP certification. Thank you so much for talking
Thank
to
you.
us.
Right, and as promised now, Mahesh with us to take all your queries. You've got several of them coming in. Mahesh, first, of course, this is a field that's sort of just about opening up. Like you were talking earlier that, my investments in sort of post office schemes or fixed deposit were perhaps the only options I had earlier. Now, wherever you look, whether it's, magazines, TV, radio, etc., ads on mutual funds are everywhere. So the market's opening up. But as you're saying, slowly but surely.
It still hasn't opened up. We are still a very saving nation which focuses on investments which are safe, but never beats inflation. So it's invariably fixed deposits or at best postal national savings certificates. That is where majority of India still saves. But with the inflation galloping at 8-9%, that won't work. So unless we change the way we look at money and how fungible it is and where it can earn you the maximum returns, you're not making it work for you.
Right.
And financial planning is the way to go. But India still hasn't opened up to financial planning. We
As in a third person who sort of comes in
Yes,
and
and
says
looks at
this
your
is
money,
right,
yes.
looks at your money
Yes.
and tells you how,
which is where
how
you should
to
go,
improve it, right?
is you're not even open to it. So most planners even today are basically insurance agents. Insurance is the only investments we have in our mind.
Right.
And
कुछ हो गया तो
कुछ हो गया तो उतना ही है.
Right.
Beyond that, what is a mutual fund? Not more than 0.5% of the country invests in mutual funds. Stock markets are people in about 4% of the total savers have a certain investments in stock markets. So our markets are very nascent when it comes to their potential. So financial planning as a domain will pick up as the economy also grows.
Right.
Like mutual funds were not heard of before 1991, before liberalization. There was only UTI.
now they're everywhere, right.
Now they're everywhere.
Right.
At least they're visible.
Right.
And financial planning as a domain is exceptionally important because at each stage of your life, your financial goals are different. Your needs are different.
Right.
So an expert comes in and tells you what is an ideal combination of saving products for you.
Right, so you're saying in your 20s, 30s, 40s, so on and so forth, your
Precisely.
needs are changing.
Yes.
Perhaps as you grow older, you want to do more for your health or, you know. And,
Precisely.
right.
You might have a house buying goal, you have a children's goal.
Right.
So it's almost like having a family doctor.
Right, exactly. Right, so let's get started. Aishwarya has the first question. Go ahead, Aishwarya.
My name is Aishwarya Jain. I would like to ask you, how is financial planning as a career?
Right, so we were just talking, we've heard Aishwarya's question there. We were just talking about how it's just about opening up. But she seems someone who could perhaps be keen. So what would you say to her?
See, ideally what she must do is that before even she goes for a certified financial planning certification, she must have a basic degree in commerce or a degree in an MBA. An MBA is more suitable because you understand the business dynamics of it better with a finance specialization. Okay. Once she has that, she understands different products, different aspects of saving, difference between investments and savings, so on and so forth. Then once she gets a CFP along in her fold, her ability to assess you as an investor and advise you becomes very good.
I see.
Instead of...
So let an MBA complement.
Yes, an MBA acts as a base,
right,
and CFP then acts as a tool to make you a good advisor.
I see, okay. Well, Aishwarya, I do hope that helps. I have another question here saying, after doing my certification in financial planning, what is a better option? Joining a financial planning firm or starting your own practice? I would imagine a firm to get some experience.
No.
What would you say?
No.
I see, that's interesting.
Because, when you start a firm, because I'm entrusting my money to you, I would expect you to have a certain amount of experience with handling money.
Right.
So unless you have that level of credibility in the society in which you operate, I may not.
It's going to be difficult.
Yes. So it's also imperative that you work in a firm, get an experience. That will I advise someone who is in his 20s for more stocks? Will I advise someone who is in his 40s for more debentures?
I see.
Are questions which you do by trial and error.
Correct.
Spread over 10-12 years.
Right.
Once you do that, you will have built up an ocean of contacts.
Right.
Of clients who will have the faith in you over 5-10 years.
So the trust factor again, because there's money involved, the trust factor being very key.
Yes.
And perhaps that's an important thing to keep in mind. Get that experience, work with the big names, work with the big guys. There are of course so many big guns now in this field. You can take your pick, and like Mahesh saying, the sector just about opening up. So that of course should help. Ananya has the next question. Let's hear from Ananya.
I'm currently pursuing my postgraduate diploma in financial planning. I would like to ask if this is my correct field, because I have issues with interacting with people, but I'm quite good with the technical part. So is it the right way to go for me, or should I switch to a CFA?
Right, so that's interesting, and I say that she sort of assessed herself very well and very honestly. So maybe people skills not being that good.
And it matters a lot.
It matters a lot,
yeah,
yes.
Especially,
you're asking me to give my money to you.
Yeah, you're asking me to trust me.
Right, exactly. So what would you say? What would you recommend?
If she has a major people, and also it can be acquired. It is not as if you can't acquire people's skills. But if she genuinely feels that she doesn't have it in her to interact with people and get their trust in her, then she definitely is better off doing a CFA.
I see.
Because a CFA involves a lot of high-end technical analysis.
Okay.
Which is essential for doing financial products for any consumer.
Okay.
So it's one step behind a financial planner.
I see.
Without a good financial product, a planner has nothing to sell. Right. So if she has that ability, each other.
So therefore, that is
something. There's no harm in doing a CFA, and it's a good certification.
Okay, Shubham has the next question. Go ahead, Shubham.
How CFP will enhance a career?
There is no other way to go about it, first and foremost, is there? Isn't that the minimum that you perhaps have to do, whether you take
Not mandatory right now, but it will become mandatory in the coming days.
So right now, what is mandatory, Mahesh?
Nothing, honestly.
So I can just go out there and say, I know how to...
Yes. What does a stockbroker do? What does a stockbroker has been doing in this country for ages? He has a skill and he sells the skills to you. So per se, the certification really didn't matter until very recently.
Right.
Now, because of SEBI and CRISIL playing a larger role, they are making it mandatory in the coming days.
Right. So let's quickly recap this. The top 3 things that you need to keep in mind if this is for you. Of course, first, as always with anything, have genuine interest in all of this. Even though certification not essential at the moment, go for it, because very soon it will be, and that might just be a sort of a big stumbling block. and get training with a well-known financial planning firm. So the top 3 things that you need to keep in mind there. And let us know how it goes for you. Thanks very much, Mahesh, for coming in and sharing your time and thoughts with us. Well, on that note, we're slipping into a quick break now. Coming up after that, how to make a financial plan? Well, Abhishek is going to try and crack that one.